Start with the command prompt as usual. Say I want to create the project in C drive, so I'll type cd slash. Then it is Django minus admin create project. By same, I'll keep it as MCM college. Sorry, it is start project MCM college. Then after this, CD MCM college. Then here Python manage.py start app. I'll call the app name as student. So app is created. Now after this, go to C drive, go to the MCM college folder. In that you have MCM college project. In that settings.py, in settings.py under the installed apps, single quotation, the name of the application separated by comma, save. And once you save it, you can close this because now we don't use it again in this case. The second thing we have to do is go to urls.py. In urls.py, you have to put comma, include, and in the URL patterns, type path. Inside this, single quotation or double quotation, open, close. Then we have include statement. Inside this, application name, that is student dot urls. Save this, close it, and next copy this same URL. Go to your application folder, paste it. Copy again, urls.py, go to student folder, paste it. Open this, and here you have to first delete these two. Okay. So once you have done this much, just check whether we have done correctly or not. For that, Python manage.py make migrations run. So no changes detected is fine. Then it is migrate. So you can copy all the required files for your application in this case. Then Python manage.py execute the run server. So once you get put the server control break, open the web browser, and you can type the URL, that is localhost colon 8000. You should see this. Once this is done, the next work what you have to do is in the project application folder, create a new folder in this case, call it as templates. So inside the templates, you have to create a HTML file. So what you can do is to create a HTML file, open the Sublime Text and just click on new file or shortcut key Control N. Okay, and now save this particular file. Go for save as option, and here you have to select the templates folder in this. So if you are already in that project folder, fine. Otherwise, in the left side you can scroll to this PC. Here you will get C drive. In C drive you will get MCM college. In that student folder, in that templates folder, here you create a file in this case. Okay, so file name I will keep it as register.html. So I want to create a student registration page. So or you can say student register.html. When you are giving the name of the file, make sure that the file name is continuous. Don't give a space. Everything should be in small letters. So I'll save this. Now we create a HTML page for student registration. So here I'll say student registration, and same thing I will use in the body tag in the h2 as a title of the page in this case. Okay. Now let us save this. We will execute the student homepage. Then we'll make the form design in this case. And once you have done this, remember, whenever you create a HTML page, two things you have to do. First thing is you have to go to the urls.py of your application. Write two lines here. The first one is from student import views. This is the first line. Second is inside the URL patterns, you have to add path open close, in double quotation, give the name of the file in this case. That is, I want to access student registration, I will give student registration. That is student registration. Okay. Next, separated by comma, views dot same student registration, comma, name is equal to student registration. Okay, and just put one comma after this. So after you have created the path inside the urls.py, the next step is you have to go to the views.py, and here you have to create a function. If you don't create a function, it will be throwing an error saying that module student views has no attribute student registration. This means I have created a function call in the urls.py saying views.studentregister. But in views, I don't have this function. That is why it is showing the error saying that has no attribute student registration. So what I have to do now? I have to create a function. And this student registration function, take any function in views.py, they will accept one compulsory parameter, that is request, and colon inside this. Call the HTML file by using the return keyword followed by a render function. Inside this, you have to pass two parameters. First one is the request, comma. The second is the name of the HTML file. Okay. So these are the two parameters that I am passing in the render function. Save this. Once you have written this function, the error will be gone, and now again it is showing quit the server with control break. Okay. Now you can open the web browser, and here after that colon 8000 slash student registration, click on enter. Remember, this student registration, whatever you have given, should be same what you have given in the urls.py in the first place. It should be the same in this case. Okay. Now you are getting an error saying template does not exist. That means he is not able to find this HTML file inside the templates folder. So we have to check with the spelling. That is the first common mistake which the students do. That is, here we have student register. The HTML file name we have created is a student register. So we'll keep the same name in all the places. So here also I'll change it. Student register, student register, student register. And in the views.py, I will change the name of the HTML file. I'll change the name of the function. Got this point? So remember, if it says template does not exist, that means the HTML file, whatever you have given, is not there in the templates folder. So for that, you have to check the spelling mistakes, or maybe you have saved that file in some other location. So make sure that is correct. Once it is done, I will give student register on the URL. Click on enter. I got student registration. Clear with this point? Okay. Now we have to design the HTML page in this case. Now in the design part, there are two methods. One method is using a bootstrap. Second is using the basic HTML tags in this case. Now first, what are the informations that I need to take from the user? I need to take the student name. I need to have his register number. I need his mobile number, and I need his email ID. And if he wants to, we have an option for login, then we take the password from him in this case. Okay. And you can add one more. I need a gender also. So I'll take the gender field. So these are the informations that I need to take from the user in this. So for this, if you are taking a student name, what we will do is we will create one HTML tag called as the table tag. This is the most traditional way of designing the HTML pages. Inside this table tag, I will create one more tag called as tr tag. In that, two TDs. One TD for mentioning the label, another TD for mentioning the tag. Now what is this? Very simple. Label is this. So I'll put it in the first TD. In the second TD, I will write the input tag to take the name. That is, input type is equal to text, name is equal to student name. Okay. Since it is a first field in this case, I will put autocomplete, sorry, autofocus equal to on. Next, placeholder, enter student name. Okay. And most important thing we forgot was to put these things inside the form tag. That is very important. Form name is equal to student register. Then I will give method property which is always set to post, and one more property autocomplete equal to off, and close the form tag. Okay. So I've taken the student name first in this. It is a compulsory field. So what I will do, I will make use of required attribute. Okay. After this, a second tr. Now what we'll see this, save this, and we'll refresh the web page, and you can see a student name and a label. Sir, I want the table in center. So for that, in table tag, you make use of one attribute called as align center. Save, refresh, it comes in the center. Next, I need to take the next data from the user. Again, put one more tr, close of tr. In that td, close of td. I need to take the register number of the student. So I'll say register number. And next, we have one more td in this case. And assuming that the register number has the numbers and characters both. So what I can do is, I can say input type is equal to text. If it is having only numbers, then I can take input type is equal to number in this case. So name, I will call it as register number, placeholder property, that is enter register. If it is a compulsory property, make use of the required. Save this, refresh the web page. You got the register number in this. Next, I need to take his mobile number. So for that, one more tr. In that td, here you give a label, that is email id, and take a one more td in this case. And inside this td, I will say input type is equal to email, name is equal to email id, placeholder property, enter email id. Then if it is compulsory, make use of required. Okay. So I've got the third field in this case, that is email id. Save, refresh the web page. Now I got exactly, I'm getting below the one below the other in this case. Next, I need to take the mobile number from the user. So one more tr, one more td inside this mobile number. Then one more td inside this input type is equal to number, name is equal to mobile number. And you can observe one thing, whatever the names I am giving is exactly what I have given in the td property. Point is, no space, no capital letters for the name property. Okay. But whereas here, whatever the label we are giving, I am taking the first letter to be capital, and we have a proper spacing in this case. Same thing you can observe here. I have taken email ID, everything in small letters, no space. But here it is email ID. ID I have put it in capital because it's a shortcut in this case. Whenever you are using a short form, you should put it in capital. Same thing above in this register number, everything in small letters, continuous. Whereas here you can see register number, first letter is capital, and between we have a space. Okay. So that numbering naming format you should always follow in this. And after play this, use a placeholder property, enter mobile number. If it is a compulsory property, make use of the required attribute in this case. Okay. Now, here I use a one more attribute in this case called as pattern. In the pattern, I'll put a square brackets. Only I should allow 0 to 9 characters in this. Means only these characters. And how much will be a mobile number consisting of how many digits? 10. So minimum is 10. Maximum he may go for plus 9 1 followed by the numbers in this case 12. Don't use a plus in this case. It's always a plus symbol for everything. So it's country code that will change in this. So maximum he can enter up to 12. So I'm putting that condition in the pattern property. Okay. I can use a one more property here called as title. Suppose if he enters anything apart from the specified characters, I will give a message to the user saying enter numbers only. If he tries to enter anything apart from numbers, this message will be displayed on the screen in this case. Okay. Enter valid, I'll say. Enter valid numbers only. Valid mobile number only. I'll give a complete message in this. Okay. Save this. You can use the same title tag for all the attributes. Even here for email, you can say enter valid email ID. Enter valid email ID. And even for the name, register number. Now there is no fixed format for register number. I'll keep it as it is. For name also you can use the pattern property because I can't allow the numbers or symbols to be entered. So what I will do, I'll say capital A to small z, capital A to capital Z. You can allow space. So for that I will say slash s. If you want to allow dot, it is slash dot and put a flower brackets. Minimum 2 digits, maximum he can enter up to 50 digits. If anything violation in this, I'll make use of the title number, title tag, enter valid name. Okay. So this is a message I am showing there. We'll see how it works in the later part. So now after the mobile number, next I need to take one more field in this, that is the password. So one more TR, in that one more TD. Here I'll give password. In the next TD, make use of a tag, that is input type is equal to password, name is equal to password, placeholder password, that is say enter password. It is a compulsory property, so I'll make use of required. Sir, should I give any pattern? No. For password, he can accept numbers, he can accept symbols, he can accept alphabets also. So all three can be used. So I'll just use the required property, no pattern property. Save this. Let us see how the design looks. The design looks like this. Okay. Now, sir, why it is showing mobile number and why it is showing password? That is browser feature. The browser, we have already stored the data in this browser, so it is showing like this. Okay. Now, after this, I need to take a gender from the user. So for that, one more tr, one more td. Inside this, I'll use gender. In the next td, I will make use of input type is equal to, there is a tag called as radio, which is used to take the gender from the user. So name, I will give gender, value is equal to name. The most important thing that you should remember is the name property should be same for both the radio buttons in this case. If you want to select only one of the given choice, then we must make use of same name for the type equal to radio. One more most important thing, we never gave the value property anywhere above this. But for radio, compulsory you have to give the value. This value will be stored in the database. Okay, save this, run the file. Are you able to distinguish between male and female? No. For that reason, here you have to mention the text male and female. Save this. Let us see how it works. So now you can see you have gender male and female. Now, sir, I want to select one of the given choice. That is, depending on the number of users, I want one of the radio buttons to be selected by default. Now, since in your class the female are more in this, so what I will do is for the female property, I will put one more attribute called as check. So when I give it check, the female radio button will be selected by default in this case. Clear with this point? So this is a very small form that I wanted to create in this. Since we are in the early stage, small form is sufficient in this. Once you get used to this, I'll give you a huge size form in this. Okay. Now after all these fields, I need to send the data to the server. So for that, we make use of one more tr. In that td, And here compulsory input type is equal to submit and name is equal to, I will call btn submit. We give a value property calling it to register. Yeah, save this, refresh the page, you got a register button. Now, the next I need to have one more input tag in this case, type equal to reset to refresh the web page. So here I'll give btn reset and value is equal to refresh. Okay, save, run this. So if I click on refresh, the data will be erased and you can see the form in this case. Sir, but I want these in the center. So for that, you need to have one attribute inside TD, that is align center. Save, refresh. Is it in the center? The answer is yes, it is in the center. How? I'll show you. I'll use a one more attribute in the table tag called as border is equal to 1. So now a border will be drawn. Is it in the center? I mean the buttons register and refresh. The answer is yes. Now you may think, sir, maybe it is not refreshed in my web page in your system. It is refreshed. You are seeing it here. It is in the center because you have created one TD. So the length of the one TD is from this end to this end. So in that it is in the center. You can see this border closing here. I want to extend this to this place. That means only one TD should have this complete border. Some students, what they do is they put two TDs, one TD register, one TD for refresh. You should never do that. Okay, you should use only one TD in this case, and in that TD, you have to add one more attribute, that is call span. Put call span is equal to 2 means that what you are telling is the width span means it is a width. The width of this particular TD should be equal to the width of two TDs. So here I have two TDs, one TD and second TD. So whatever is given for space, whatever the space is given for two TDs, I want this to be given for only one TD. So now I refresh, you can see the border got extended and now the tags are in the center in this case. Clear with this point? So this is how we create a HTML page in this. Any doubts still here? Everyone? Okay. And this is one of the oldest method of designing the web pages. Currently, we are not using that. That we'll see in the later part. First, we'll learn with this only. Okay. So once the registration page is done, I have created a register page. The URL is already there. So URL I need not bother. Use function is already there. Now, when I enter every data in this, click on register. Remember, it will go to the same student register function. Now the page has come here. We are seeing this particular page because the use student register function was called and he displayed me the student registration page. Now when I type all the data in this, click on register, it will again go to the same function. But what is the difference in this? The difference is when the page was first displayed to the user, he just displayed a blank page. But when I enter all the data, click on register, what the HTML page will do is, he will create one object by the name called as post. And that post object will be having all the data that you have entered in the web page. So whatever the information I am typing in the web page, that will be stored inside one object called as post, and this object will be sent to the views.py. So remember, if the post object is initialized, that means you have come from the HTML page with the data. If the post object is not initialized, that means you are loading this particular page. That's it. That is, you are coming empty-handed. Once you enter the data, submit the data, a post object will be created. You will come to the same student register page, student register function with the object called as post. So what I have to do here? Very simple. In this, I have to check whether that post object is initialized or not. How you do that? Very simple. If request dot method double equal to post. we have seen the if how to use a if condition in this case. So here I'm checking, does the method variable has the object called as post? If it is there, come inside the if condition. If it is not there, you will come to the else part in this case. Clear with this point? So understand this point very clearly in this case. Say you are coming from your home to the institute. In institute, you will you will learn the concept in this case, and then you will go to home in this. So when you are coming from the home from home to institute, you were blank in this case. After coming here, when you go back home, you have the information or whatever the class has been taught today. So if your mother wants to know whether you have attended the class or not, what she will do? She will ask questions on the topic. Same thing I'm doing here. When the first time when the page gets loaded, this page gets loaded, nothing is there in this particular page. Once I type all the data, click on register, it will come back here, and if this particular object is initialized, that means somebody has entered the register button to come here. But the first time there was no register button clicked. But the second time the register button was clicked means the post object is created in this case. Clear with this point? No doubt still here? Save. Okay, I'll do one thing. I'll keep this as it is. We'll come to that in the later part. Now HTML page creation is clear. This function is clear. Now, whatever the data I enter in this must be saved in some location. Yes, for that we make use of a new form, that is something called as models. So I have not used till now this models in this case. Models is a place where we create a table to store the data. Okay, so all the data that you want to store from the HTML page should be defined inside the models.py in this. How we do it? Very simple. In models.py, create one class. That is, I will create class student data. Open close. Inside the student data, I will create pass one parameter, that is models.model. So now what I have done, I have created a HTML page. Now I am creating a model where the data can be stored in the table in this case. And how to create that? Very simple. Go to models.py class. You have to create one user defined class, which we had done in the Python topic in this. So I'll use a keyword class followed by the name of the class. Pass one parameter to him called as models.model. Inside this, for each input that you are taking from the user, you have to create a variable. So I'm taking the first data, that is student name. So what I will do is, inside this I will create a variable called as student name. And what is the data type of this? For this data type, we say it is models dot char field. Now here char field is one of the built-in class or built-in function defined inside the class models, which will tell this particular variable will store character type fields. Character means numbers, symbols, anything can be stored in this. Okay. How many characters he can store? We mentioned that using a property called as max underscore length. Max underscore length, I will say 50. Now, if you remember in DBMS, you had DBMS subject. So there you used name varchar of 50. That varchar will tell it stores characters. 50 will tell how many characters will be stored. The same thing in Python, we write it like this. That is, in Python, we say models.char field, but it means it is a character field. Inside the bracket, using a max length property equal to 50, I am telling that it can store up to maximum of 50 characters. Next, the second parameter that I am taking is a register number. So I'll create a one more variable for him. Register number is equal to models dot char field. Say register number max length I will give up to 12. So I'm creating a one more variable register number of character field type, and the characters it can store is 12. Next, the third one in this, the third input I'm taking is email ID. So email ID is equal. Again, models dot char field, open bracket, close bracket, max length is equal to, I'll give up to 100. Next, the fourth parameter is mobile number. So it is mobile number is equal to models dot, again I will take char field, inside this max length is 12. Sir, you may ask, sir, why character field for a mobile number? Because it is having numbers. It is having numbers, but we are not performing any operations on that number. So I'll make use of the char field in this case. Next, after this, I am taking the next field from the user, that is password. Password is equal to models dot char field, open close, max length 20. Next, the last field that I am taking is gender is equal to models dot char field, open close, max length. Female is 6 characters, FEMALE 6 characters. So I'll keep up to 10 notation. So like this, for each field that you are taking from the user, whatever the values you have created in the form design, each field there should be one separate variable in this. And if you observe carefully, whatever the labels I have used the same variable name here in this. Sir, is it? It should be same? No, it is not necessary that it should be same, but we keep it so that it is easy for us to understand the parameters in this. When you are declaring the names, it must be continuous without any blank space. Okay, and I am putting everything in small letters in this. Understood this part? No doubt in this. We have done two part in this case. One is creating a front end, that is a HTML part. Second thing now we have created is a models.py, that is a backend part in this case. Clear with this? No doubts in the models in this. Still there are many fields here. Now I have shown only one char field. Later I'll add integer field, float field, boolean field. There are many fields in this. So we'll see those one by one later. First, for the timing, I'm keeping it very simple with the char field in this. Any doubts still here? No? Okay. Once you save this, remember one thing. Whenever you make any changes in the models.py, compulsory you have to execute two things in this. One is again make migrations and migrate. Any change you make, even if you change one single letter in the models.py, you have to execute the command, that is python manage.py make migration. Till now, whenever you executed python manage.py make migration, it was showing no changes detected. But in this case, it will show something else. Because whenever you executed make migration, it was checking have you made any changes in the models.py. There was no changes in the models.py. So it was showing no changes detected. But now you have written some content in the models.py. So it is showing you that create model student data. That means he has created one new model called as student.data in this case. Now again, remember whenever you execute make migration, compulsory you have to execute the migrate command. So when I click on migrate command, now you can observe here there is one more extra field that is added which was not there before. Previously there were admin auth content type session that you are when you are executing the migrate for the first time. But after you created the models.py, after you executed make migration, a new column will be added, that is your application name. Now you execute the run server in this case, so that to make sure there is no errors or mistakes. Once you have got this, that means you have successfully created a models.py correctly in this case. Any doubts still here? Sure. Is it still a Upendra movie? Yes. It will take some time to settle in this case. So last class, yesterday we created a HTML design. Today we have created a HTML design and a models.py, and we will stop at this point. Tomorrow's class, we will be